Hi guys, welcome back to Feathers and Fur. So it is the 1st of April, which means it is book review day. So through March, I have been reading A Sky Full of Kites by Tom Bozer, and I really loved this book. It was just such a nice book to read. It was really easy to read. The chapters were quite short, so for me that was perfect because I was literally falling asleep every night. So it was just wonderful to be able to read a chapter and go. I did feel that maybe the fact that I'm reading it at night means that I might have missed something vital because I was a little bit lost on the timelines of this book. You know, it sort of jumped around a little bit and I wasn't quite certain as to where we were in his history or his past or the idea of what was going on. The thing, you know what really kind of struck a chord with me is at the beginning of each chapter, let me just pick a chapter randomly, he had these quotes from newspapers and from books, and they basically look, premiums for destroying birds of prey in Arran. For an eagle, you get 7 shillings and I don't know what the D is. Dimes? No. Pennies? Anyway, that shows my very lack of knowledge, and my grandma will be very cross at me. Anyway, so you got paid for an eagle, you got paid 10 shillings and whatever 60 is for a nest of eagles, a game hawk 2 shillings, the nest of a game hawk and live ones 10 shillings, a common kite is 1 shilling, the nest of a common kite is 2 shillings, and a cat shot on the moor is 1 shilling. Yeah, it was really heartbreaking to read those sort of bits. I really didn't like that bit, but it really kind of helped build the basis of why the kites had disappeared and how well they were doing and how they've come back. So actually the comments got better and better as went to come. So like going down to chapter 26, once extinct in England and Scotland, now the red kite is back with a vengeance as 10,000 take to us guys in the species' biggest success story in British conservation history, from the Daily Mail in the 19th of July. That was actually my birthday, 2020. So I like the kind of progress for that. There's 2 little bits that I want to read out. So for me, one of the arguments I have with a lot of people is feeding red kites. I dislike feeding red kites in gardens. I think it causes issues, and I have mixed views about the big red kite feeding stations. And actually he addressed this and why feed kites, and it was an easy answer to answer apparently, because they're scavengers, because deliberately or not people have supplied much of their meat for centuries. Even if all feeding stations were abolished, kites would not simply disperse and live independently of mankind. They are not that kind of bird. Alice is trying to pull at my sleeve. Instead, they would go to busy roads, railway tracks, wind farms and shooting estates, the places where we regularly kill things. As a pack animal loyal to their territory, they would go en masse. Short of outlawing cars, trains and wind turbines and field sports, there is little we can do to change that. This being the case, I'm surely we prefer to see kites at feeding stations than those of dangerous places. So I kind of get that. That was a really good point of the argument. Alice is really interested in being part of this video. So that kind of helped. And I might pull that kind of compliment and my argument back into it when we talk to the customers. And then my second one is how much he was passionate about the lack of insects. So recent studies suggest that 40% of global insect species have suffered dramatic decline due to climate change, overuse of pesticides and intensive agriculture. Looking around the gardens of villages and towns, I couldn't escape the feeling that astroturf lawns, monoblock driveways and a series of lack of plants and flowers have done a lot of harm too. At present, insects are declining at almost twice the rate of vertebrates. What happens to the food chain if you remove the lowest layer? Visit the supermarket, take a can from the bottom of the pyramid and you'll get the idea. I talk about this daily. Our insect population holds up the world and we are losing it. And so it was really cool to see someone that mention it as well and be as passionate about it. The only thing I would have wanted from this book, and it's 100% truly personal, is that I felt like it just kind of sounded like he skimmed around and played with squirrel nests or feeding squirrel things for a little bit. And I know that's 100% not true. I would have liked a little bit more of the business side. As someone that runs a business where, you know, everyone thinks you have this wonderful life and you play around with birds all day. I really like people to know the hard side of it. You know, the fact that you're up working in all hours and all weather and the dedication and the time and some of the boring day-to-day jobs. I know that most people would probably think, well, I don't want to know about the day-to-day jobs. And I'm probably one of a out of a million people that actually would want to know that. But I would have loved to know a little bit more of the sort of nitty gritty, how they finance things, how they were finding the groups to talk to, how did he go out and get people to come, and what advertising was he doing to get people to come to the centre. You know, he's set up this rewilding project, and what is he doing to attract those people? What, as a business, how is that working? So I would have liked that, but I don't think that was probably the premise of the book. But I totally recommend, if you are out shopping for a book and would like to read more about the red kites, I would totally 100% recommend this one. I still can't figure out how to say the name. However, I have actually realised that I am driving to Scotland very soon to visit my grandmother, and it is on the way, and I'm going to try and see if I can time it all in with a visit, because I would love that. I would absolutely love to go and see, because this, you know, if I won the lottery, this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to create land where, you know, it's given not just for the farming and for, you know, production for humans. I would love to give it back to nature, because it's so important. We're going to need it. We absolutely need it. And I've actually got a few ideas from here for our flying field. So he created a raised pond. I'm toying with this idea. It might not be as big as his. And a bumblebee garden. Like, I love the idea. We've got a wildflower garden, but I love an idea specifically for a bumblebee garden. So that's what I'm working on now from this book. I'm very excited. All right, so April's a hard book. I started reading this book before and I really struggled with it, so I'm going to read it. I'm going to do it for you guys. It's not because it's a bad book, it's just a little bit in depth for my nighttime reading. It's called Rebirding, and it's by Benedict MacDonald. I'm looking forward to reading this, because literally when I first started reading it, I was like telling everyone amazing facts about it, but it is in depth. So I'm hoping to maybe get a bit more time to spend in the daytimes reading it, so I'm not like falling asleep every 5 minutes. But I'm trying, guys, I'm trying. I've done 3 books so far, haven't we? 3 books in 3 months. I'm on my way. So brilliant. Next book is Rebirding.